Hello, welcome everyone to this week's Build of the Week. And this time I'm presenting you Minsang, the #1 Korean player currently, and his variation of the 6 Blademaster, or as some people like to call it, the Bangbros build. And we'll take a look at how he's doing it, why he's so strong, and how he can hard force this build every single game that he's playing with a lot of success. So here we have Minsang's history, his launcher's profile. You can see here he's pretty successful with this build so far. He had a very crazy climb from Master into Grandmaster like 1 or 2 weeks ago, and he has an insane win rate with this build. This is the standard board that he's playing on level 7. We can see our 6 Blademasters here. As you probably knew it before, we have Yasuo and Master Yi, together with Set as our rebels, and just Shen, Riven, Fiora, and Xayah covering the rest of the Blademasters. Because 6 Blademasters, the proc is, it just scales insanely well with Master Yi's passive true damage on hit. He's pretty much always playing this on level 7. I'll cover a few variations later on in the video, but this is pretty much the basic. His items are, he's really hard inting for RFC, Rapid Fire Cannon, just to increase Master Yi's attack range. It's so important he can stay in the backline and just slash through enemies from there. His second most important item is probably Quicksilver Sash, because it allows Master Yi to stay safe, don't get CC'd, and he just keeps on slashing. The third item is, it's up for discussion, but he's always going for Guinsus if he can. There are some other alternatives, of course, like sometimes he goes for Death Cap, sometimes for Warmogs. Other items for this build is the Spear of Shojin is pretty nice for Yasuo because it scales nicely with the 6 Blademaster buff. As you know, we get mana back with every auto attacks, and 6 Blademasters lets us auto attack a lot, so we just stack that Shojin passive a lot quicker than normally. So it's a nice item on Yasuo. But he also puts a lot of defensive items on Yasuo if his Master Yi is stacked already, like Warmogs, like Bramblevest, Dragon's Claw. So his Yasuo is pretty much his second tank next to our Shen here. Sometimes I see him stacking Riven with mana or AP items, especially on the Treasure Trove Galaxy, because he'll eventually run out of space in this galaxy. So Riven is a good one to stack next, and maybe Shen if you have even more additional items left over. For the first carousel, he is always hard forcing the bow. I've actually, of all the VODs that I tried to watch of him, he's never not gotten the bow unless it was a troll carousel. But he's very good at getting the first bow. I would believe if he's not able to get the bow on the first carousel, he would probably go for something like a Crit Glove to make the QSS, maybe a Rod for the Rage Blade, or maybe just a sword so he can get a Blademaster spatula eventually. So that's what I would do, but I can't speak for him there since I've never seen him not getting it. Now let's see how he's playing the early and mid game, which in my opinion is the reason why he's so successful with this build. Because before, when we played Bangbros, right, all we did is we econned until level 6 or 7 and then slow rolled. And at least what happened to me on Master Elo all the time was that I'll eventually bleed out while slow rolling, and I'll just die off before I could hit my 3 stars. And that's because the mid game in this patch has become way more aggressive than before. We got the Cybers, we got the Vanguard Mystics, we have a lot of build sorcerers with Rivens that just make our mid game, especially stage 3 and beginning of stage 4, very painful. And that's why we couldn't continue to slow roll anymore, because we would just die off. So what Minsang was doing here is what I'm going to explain now. So as I said, he's going for the bow, always on his first carousel. And after that, he's trying to find an item carry for his Master Yi items. And what I've discovered is that he's always going for the Rebel Synergy in the beginning, even if he's not hitting the units at all. Like, even if he doesn't have 2-star units, he's always going for the Rebels, which is Malphite, 6, and some other Rebel that you can find. 6 will be his item holder, you give him the bows, you give him whatever items you can build early on that you want to transition onto Master Yi. And then he usually plays something like Ilaoi for the brawler, Synergy, or if Set is his third rebel, he's playing Nocturne. That's a very strong board. Another board is Caitlyn Blitzcrank Malphite. You give Caitlyn the items that you want to transition to Master Yi. So you see you have a lot of options there. And he's never going for hard forcing 2-stars, whatever he can hit. Sometimes he's even selling them and just not playing them at all. Another thing is, if he didn't get a bow yet, he's inting in the first 3 rounds for the first carousel. Sorry, for the second carousel on stage 2. So that means he's so hard forcing this rapid fire cannon that he's willing to sacrifice about 10 HP in the early game just to make sure he gets a bow, at least one. Because optimally you want to have 3 bows in this build, right? And they're very contested because of Last Whisper currently. So I really like that idea. On stage 2-3, what he does is he always pre-levels. He doesn't give a shit about econ during stage 2. So he pre-levels to 5 on stage 2-3, so he can be level 5 at stage 2-5 after the carousel. And from there on, he continues to play his strongest board. When he was inting before, he then swaps in all the other nice synergies, all the units that he accumulated, and he's playing to his strongest now and is trying to start a win streak from there on. He usually has around 20 gold when he heads into the first creep round, and he starts slow collecting all the units that he gets during his natural shops, all the units that we need, all the Fioras, the Xayahs, the Shens, if he can't play Shen yet. He just keeps them on his bench. I've seen him entering the creep round with 0 gold before, but that's just part of his playstyle. After the first creep round on stage 3-1, if he has like a win streak of 3+ games, then what he's doing is he's always leveling to level 6 and is rolling down to 0. He does that just to find all his synergies, find the 6 Blademasters if possible, or just play 3 Blademasters, but at least have his Master Yi online at stage 3-1, or if he didn't have a win streak on stage 3-2, which is where he levels latest, and put out the item carries, the item holders that you had before, and just swap in your primary carries. Swap in your Yasuo, your Master Yi, your Set, get that Malphite out. And from there on, he's trying to get his 6 Blademasters, find his units, and continue his game from there on. If he's not satisfied with his rolldown on stage 3-1 or 3-2, he will collect another 20 or 30 gold during stage 3 and then roll it down to 0 all the way again, just to find his core units. He really puts a lot of value to his core units to have them up and running as soon as possible. And yeah, as soon as he's satisfied, he starts collecting gold again, goes into stage 4-1, and what he does there depends heavily on how his health pool is. If he is high health, he will slow roll. He will go to level 7 and then slow roll his 50 gold down until he feels he's too weak. But if he's already losing the mid game a lot, he will level to 7 at stage 4-1 and roll down to 0 again. So he puts a lot of value on stabilizing his board. He doesn't want to lose health unnecessary in the mid game. So that pretty much sums up the build that he's trying to go for. His late game heavily depends on what items he's getting. Sometimes he's getting a Blademaster spat for Set. So let me give you a quick overlook on how some variations might look like. This is a very common variation right here, where if we happen to get a Blademaster spat for Set, it just pushes our late game to no limits. It's pretty much not the guaranteed first place, but I would say it's an easy top 2 with a Blademaster spat, because you can just swap out Fiora for Fizz here, and Set will be our 6th Blademaster. If he gets the spat very early, he stops itemizing Master Yi and just puts the items on Set. Something like this is what you see a lot from him. But if he gets the Blademaster spat later in the game, he's not selling Master Yi, guys. So don't sell your Master Yi just to put your items on Set. Just after you get the spat, start giving priority to Set. Another thing you can do is, if you already hit your units or you feel like you're contested and you can't hit your 3-star units anymore, then you pretty much want to have Celestial on level 8, which means you stop rolling, you stop slow rolling, you have maybe your Master Yi golden, everything else is silver. Then just go to level 8 and add Celestial, like add a Lulu, add Ash, at Rakan, any Celestial you can find. Of course, Lulu is optimal, but it's not required. It's just for the Celestial buff in general. So after we went over the variations of this build, let's take a look at the galaxies, like how you can play this build on which galaxy, which it's strong, where it's not so strong. That's just my opinion. That's not Minsang's opinion, but I think it's fine. So the galaxy I would probably rate the highest would be the trade sector, simply because you get a free reroll every turn, and this build is all about getting a golden 3 stars. So this reroll galaxy helps a great deal there. So, but also expect to have a lot of contesters on this build, which is okay. I've played this build with 2 other people going for it, and it still went fine. So don't worry too much. The second best galaxy, in my opinion, is the Star Cluster, simply because you can get 2 stars on your carousel. So whenever you can grab a Yi, can grab a Yasuo from the carousels already upgraded, you basically save 9 gold plus all the reroll costs, which leads to about 20 gold, which is amazing. And even if the items are not that perfect, you will not get perfect items. As long as you have your RFC, I think you're fine with this build, and you can just start going for your units instead. The third best galaxy is Treasure Trove. Treasure Trove is just nice if you have more than one carry, and besides Master Yi, we've also Yasuo and Zed as our carries, and if we run out of spaces on them, we can start stacking our Riven and our Shen for the front line. So we're never running out of options there, that's why I like it. Another one is Super Dense Galaxies, probably the next best one, because we love slow rolling or generally rolling at level 7, right? So with Super Dense Galaxy and the free force of nature, we are already at 8 slots for our units, which means we can just add in a free Celestial unit or a free Infiltrator unit, whatever we desire to do. So I like it there. And probably Nicoverse is at the same level as the Super Dense Galaxy. It just helps us get our 3 stars a little bit quicker. You know that feeling when you have 8 Master Yis sitting on your bench and you simply can't find the last one. Nicoverse helps a great deal there to get our power spike just a little bit earlier and not bleeding out too much. My least favorite galaxy for this is Little Legends. Sorry, it's Little Legends. I think it's the least favorite galaxy of almost any player here, right? But yeah, it's just we have less HP. People play a lot more aggressive on this galaxy, so we start losing health a lot. You're basically required to high roll on this galaxy if you want to survive. And I've seen Minsang actually getting 2 first place on his VODs on Little Legends, so it's doable, but yes, pray for some high rolls, guys. And the new galaxy for patch 10.13 is Binary Star, if I recall correctly. And what it does is it allows you to only have 2 items on each unit instead of 3 items, which means I don't think it means a great deal to this build. I mean, everyone has this restriction, right? And it's, in my opinion, a bit similar to Treasure Trove, where if you have more than one carry, you actually benefit with this galaxy. So as long as we have RFC and let's say QSS on Master Yi, we're fine with stacking the other guys like Yasuo, Zed, you know the deal. Some other 10.13 predictions, since we're already at this point, is Yi and 6 Blademasters getting a nerf. But I think people are a bit too shocked about this, since not only those are getting a nerf, but every meta build is getting a nerf. Vanguards, Rebels, Sorcerers, Riven. So everyone is getting tuned down just to have the non-meta builds go up in the tier a little bit. So I wouldn't say it destroys the build. It's definitely noticeable, I would say, because Master Yi loses 25 damage on level 3. It only affects his 3-star version. He loses 25 true damage on hit. And 6 Blademaster proc chance went down from 70% to 65%. So we have a 5% less proc chance for our 6 Blademasters. Both of them are noticeably, but not significant. So guys, don't worry, we can still play this build, I'm pretty sure about it. So that was Minsang's 6 Blademaster build. I hope you guys liked it. This time I didn't include a video footage of me playing this build. simply because I felt people were not too interested in that and the videos got too long. But let me know if you're interested. I might make another video in the coming days if you want to see me playing it on a master level. Thank you very much for watching until the end, guys. If you liked this video, consider subscribing because I'll try to publish a build of the week every single week. I'll try to find popular builds, secret builds that people have success with on high elo, trying to play them, learn them, and then share my secret information with you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.